All rise for the Honourable Justice Forrest Hawthorne.
Fuck no.
Okay, you may be seated.
I'm just gonna sit on air now.
I'm
Danny.
now stuck. This is fine.
That's an unfortunate position.
Unfortunate, buddy.
Danny.
It's fine. It's in your place.
Chair.
Just flop out.
Okay.
There you go.
Before official proceedings begin, are there any motions that wish to be brought forward?
Justice, you need to
Yes.
get back in your chair. You're,
I have one thing. In the comments, the state made the notion that my client has been in court before. This is not true.
Your client has
First time.
pled guilty to second-degree murder. It is on his record. Therefore, he has taken part in court proceedings.
Never
No.
been in court.
He still took part in court proceedings. Just because you don't directly have a full-on trial doesn't mean you don't take part in court proceedings.
For it to be a court proceeding, I would need a justice there. I took a deal with Rizzo.
And a justice had to sign off on it.
Yeah, he didn't.
A justice had to sign off on it.
Well, unfortunately, it didn't. So,
Okay.
Something for the state to investigate, I guess.
I can promise you a justice did sign off on it.
So just want to be clear, what's the exact motion being made here?
My client stated that he has never been in court before, and the state made it known that he has been in court before. I wanted to bring up, well, he has court charges. He has never been in actual court like this.
Okay. Are there any actual motions that wish to be brought forward? Evidentiary motions, to strike pieces of evidence, anything like that?
I do not wish to strike any evidence. I do wish to strike charges, and I do wish anything, considering this is a summary judgment, that anything we give you in the warrants is all needs to be taken at face value. No additional information given with it.
With context to that, Stefani and I have talked before this case and given the context of this case based on the Phobos precedent, and this is an arraignment hearing which models a summary hearing. The state is okay with pretty much a review of the warrants and any charges that the defendant is challenging be brought forward, and then those are specifically looked at with the warrants at hand, considering the warrants to stand on their own given that precedent.
Understood. With all of that in mind, we will go through each incident. And to begin with, so Felipe Estrada, for the crime of criminal possession of a Class 3 firearm. How do you plead?
not guilty.
Okay. For the crimes of hostage taking and robbery, how do you plead?
One second, Your Honor. What warrant are we looking at? So we know we have the right.
I just want to see which warrants he is pleading guilty to first. So I'm going through each individual incident. So, incident 1 for criminal possession of a Class 3 firearm. He is stating that he is not guilty.
Incident 1 is evidence block A with the warrant B, C, and D is 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Stefani, if it makes it easier to follow.
Yeah, I just heard the robbery charge and I was like, this is not on the first warrant.
No, I go through each warrant to see which warrants we're going to contest and which ones he is going to accept and take guilt for.
Okay, that's good.
how many warrants you got, Felipe? Jesus fuck.
So once again, for the second warrant of hostage taking and robbery, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Okay. For the third warrant of federal bank robbery, aggravated assault, and hostage taking, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay. Let be known for the third warrant, he is pleading guilty. Then for the fourth and final warrant of federal bank robbery, 2 times hostage taking, 1 times evading, 5 times assault, and 1 times Grand Theft Auto B. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Okay.
Your Honor, can I make a quick motion that I just thought about? Just, I think, make things easier. The defendant does have an additional one that I have just found out about that is currently active right now. We can wait until after the trial or handle it with the trial.
What?
When
Shit,
was
I got
this?
2 more being prelim.
This one is November 19th.
I'm assuming it's a store robbery, shooting Lou, guilty, I don't give a damn. I literally told him on the phone I shot him.
I will attach this and let the court go from there.
Okay. So this is in relation to currently active warrants, correct?
Correct, an active warrant that was filed after these arraignment hearing was scheduled. It was just motioned for the record.
We do also have 2 things that were done on the 17th.
There were things between the arraignment hearing and this warrant, but these are what the active incidents he has not been charged for.
Okey-dokey.
Officer
Eh.
Falls, if I could ask you to speak up for the purposes of the court record.
Absolutely will do, Danny.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I do apologise.
Okay. So let's handle these warrants first. If the other warrants are in addition, those can be handled afterwards because the defense only had time to study the warrants and argue the items that were presented there. So,
I just wanted to note on the record so Sifani was aware and we could have that discussion towards the end of this or after.
understood, we will have it marked on the record that there were additional warrants between the time of this hearing being scheduled and the actual hearing. Okay. With all of that in mind, we are going to cover warrant 1 first. Prosecution. And the floor is yours to cover the first warrant.
Certainly. So the first one has a list of charges. The only ones we'll be pushing today is the criminal possession of a Class 3 firearm. The reason the state will be pushing this today is due to the multiple SMG casings which belong to a Class 3 firearm that match Felipe Estrada's fingerprints. It has been said many times in this state that an live, active casing does not just merely exist on the ground without the presence of a Class 3 firearm. Therefore, we believe that the criminal possession of a Class 3 firearm does meet the burden with the multiple casings that we found on scene. In addition, there was confirmation of Class 3 fire on scenes identified by officers written in the warrant.
Okay. Defense, do you have any argument against the possession of Class 3 firearm?
I do not.
Do not. Okay. All right, I will make my ruling at the end. Given all the evidence and arguments made on that. Okay, warrant 2, hostage taking and robbery. Prosecution.
Yes, hostage taking and robbery. For this specific event, according to the warrant, the individual here, the defendant, robbed the pharmacy on Alta Street and ended with a shootout in the tunnels. During the pharmacy robbery, they had a hostage by the name of Phil Cooper. The robbery took place. There was an active shootout from the individuals that left the store that had the individual hostage into the tunnels, with fire was exchanged and Mr. Estrada's casings were found on scene. In addition, his vehicle that came registered to him was also found on scene as well. That license plate being Hotel Alpha India Papa Papa India Yankee Papa Sierra. That vehicle at the time belonging to him, alongside his casings being on scene, clearly put him on scene for the actual robbery that took place alongside the hostage taking.
Okay. And for the record, then, he was using the phonetic alphabet when talking about the plate.
Yes, correct, sorry.
All right. Defense arguments for the second warrant.
I will not be contesting the hostage taking, robbery, or evading. I will be contesting the 3 times assault, as you are quite unable to assault us in with bullet casing.
The assault charges were dropped.
I did not hear.
I am notating what is actually on the charges sought, which was hostage taking of Philip Cooper and robbery.
Wait a minute. That's
I would like to point out that the time as it states is 3:10. It is 10th of March, which is roughly 8 months ago.
That's a grievance error at most. That could be a simple typing error. The casings notate because casings take about, what is it? Remind me, April, how long casings expire from being picked up?
Roughly 20 minutes.
No, like if you pick them up. How long are they active for?
Oh,
Before they expire? It's about a month and a half, roughly.
yeah.
And this was filed on September 19th. It was a mere grievance error and her entering the dates.
So typographical error.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I will notate that and put it into consideration. Any other arguments from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Let it be known that warrant C, he has been pled guilty to for charges as I did list. Which were federal bank robbery, aggravated assault, and hostage taking. Which brings us to incident D. Prosecution.
Incident D is a federal bank robbery of the PAC, Pacific Standard Bank. This resulted, they had 2 hostages, Toma and Stefano. I promise you I butchered those names, and I apologize to the victims in this case for that. After this, a evasion was started, and they started to evade in a vehicle with all 6 individuals. When the vehicle eventually stopped, they were in the tunnel when active shootout began. Many casings were identified, all being confirmed members of the FYB. One casing did come back to Felipe Estrada, who is a known member of FYB. His associates, Mr. Harrison, Mr. Lin, Mr. Kona, Mr. Ola, and Ms. Vane were all present on scene with casings coming back as well, placing him at the scene of both the robbery and the shootout with all of the officers that were injured during the process.
Okay. Defense arguments for warrant 4.
No, my client just state that the other people on this warrant have been charged as well. So we would like that taken into account as well.
Okay, I will notate that for the record.
What the fuck did you just say?
Okay. With all of the warrants in consideration and the fact that I'm primarily going to be reviewing the evidence that stands, we'll be having a long recess for me to review and decide on everything at once.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Pencil in for 20 minutes.
20
Court
minutes.
will be
Holy
court will be
shit.
in recess until.
I'm
10
reviewing
PM.
all
I'm
evidence.
gonna-
I'm reviewing all evidence in relation to this.
The court will be
Yeah.
in
Taking a
recess
dump.
until 10.
The other one, yeah, I got you.
Please don't take a dump in the courtroom.
Please don't.
Take a dump in the courtroom and it's 10K contempt.
Been there, done that.
But, excuse me?
10K contempt.
Just for.
Oh,
Do you need to get something to drink?
Yeah, 2
I've
seconds.
got sprunk.
What's up?
Thank you. Whoever can shove
got
liquid
sprunk.
down my throat the fastest.
God.
There you go.
Must you make it so perverted?
Do you
Just-
know me? Have you
just-
met me?
I'm
just
eating
for-
dry tacos, so I can basically say I have a dry taco. Anybody want one?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Councillor Farici, just for the sake
April.
of my records.
Yes, I did.
The
I have
third
a
warrant
dry
that
bear
was
taco.
pled guilty to.
Would you
Pardon?
like to see it?
Correct.
Okay, right. That's
And
fine.
then the fourth warrant, he kind of pleads guilty to, but he wants it to be in the same line as his
Okay.
colleagues, as his family.
And
There you go.
Got you. Okay, right.
Spirit, of course.
Just
Of
so
course.
you know.
Felipe, come here.
It's a taco show, guys.
With nothing in it.
have you seen the weed tacos? The weed tacos are just literally buds of weed
I know.
in fucking
I
taco
sell
shell.
them. I sell
Yeah,
the Schweik
they look
tacos.
like they're gonna kill you.
Yeah, they are. Regardless of what people say, I do actually lightly toast the weed before it goes in.
It doesn't look. It looks like just raw fucking.
It's not raw, not mine. I know some other people might do it raw, but not me. Oh my god. Dude, my dry bear taco is great.
Oh my god, I'm gonna take a 10-minute meditation.
No, you are not.
One bit.
You're gonna miss this, Peter.
Okay.
I'm gonna enjoy my sanity.
No, you good. You good.
I mean,
I'm partially.
yeah.
I'm glad we're not in session right now because now I'd have to write.
This is the whole reason why I said it after the fact, Danny.
Yeah, I know.
Because you can omit this from the statement.
Yep, it will be. Don't worry.
Good.
I don't want to have to write about your dry, not raw taco.
Dry plain taco.
Your dry, plain.
No, sorry,
not raw.
my bear dry taco.
Your bare, dry, not raw taco.
Not raw taco, yeah. It's got nothing in it, really. It needs to be filled.
Man, I need.
This is my cue to leave.
Oh, look, wow.
The reason why I stayed on because I thought it was going to be a bigger turn. It's not, so.
No worries.
I don't mean to get off in the middle of the court case, but I'm
Nah, you're good.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go for these two because I want to spend some time with my wife. So,
Yeah, you go for it. You guys
I love it the most
enjoy.
when I can have jokes.
Alright, I'll catch you. Sorry, one more thing this week. Alright.
Sounds good. Good luck.
Both of
Have
you,
fun.
both of you take it easy, okay?
Will do.
yeah, we're tired.
Yeah.
It's not a big turnout. So
Are you both leaving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys got it from here. You'll be alright. You got Gibson here, and you got
Bye-bye.
It'll be
so.
fine.
You'll be alright.
Yeah, we'll be alright.
We do have another hearing in the other courtroom in
Oh, wait,
approximately
hold
half
on.
an hour.
Oh no. Oh no.
Another one?
Yeah, it's a civil case though.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? I wish I could say it's the first time that I've been tackled in this courtroom, but it's not.
And I'm sure it won't be the last one.
No, you got tackled
Probably
earlier
not.
today.
Peter? You want me to talk to you about this warrant, or do you want me to take somebody else?
Peter.
He's meditating.
He is deep meditating.
Peter's gonna be in his head
Yeah.
for the next like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Mike, do you know about this warrant for Felipe?
Which warrant? The most recent one?
Yeah, the one that's the one
I
that's
would
currently
agree.
Look
active.
over it, but I don't know a lot about it.
Dusty,
Yeah, what's up?
have you had anything from Mr. Abernathy or Mr. LaRoche?
Should be here soon if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whilst the court's in recess, I'm going to just quickly set up the other courtroom.
I'm guilty, but there is a little hiccup on that
Hey,
part that I don't like.
Hi.
Oh, apologies.
food and water, actually. Wait, we don't have enough at the house anymore? Moldy and shit.
Perfect.
They can cite whatever precedent they want.
Nothing that says that we cannot leave the store. It just depends on circumstances in which they decided it.
Say I made it hostile. That's a lie.
Hmm.
He literally told me how he was gonna breach the store. He was waiting for Nevi to flank me behind the gas station when me not knowing Nevi was there.
Would you not think though that you made it hostile by saying that we could enter Southside?
I literally had a deal with Rocky that day before that you guys are allowed to answer calls. I talked to Rocky and Banks on Grove and I told them they're allowed to take calls, just don't patrol down there. That was a call. Nothing was gonna happen. If I'm correct, I'm assuming Rocket brought the message to a bunch of people. Not sure. Or Banks. Not sure who brought the message.
So this is. You had that discussion after there was already.
No, that was before the store.
No. I mean, you had that discussion, not the Rocket one, but with Lou. And you had a talk with Rocky after there was already established that there would be aggression against cops on the south side.
No, so the deal before the store happened, I had a deal with Rocky and Banks that they're allowed to do any type
Their
of
job.
calls on the south side.
Before you
And
had
then the store happened the day after.
Okay, so what I'm trying to ask is, before you had that talk with Rocky and Banks, there was already established aggression against officers because they're on the south side.
True, but we literally talked it over, and it got pulled back, and you literally haven't seen FYB resistance since. Even after the Rocky and Banks talk, there really hasn't been any. I don't know what's happening on the south side anymore. I haven't been really around, so I don't know what's happening over there. But I can tell you from our side, it's not FYB side. It was literally one day.
Yeah, that's a tough one there because of the previous aggression before the talk with Rocky.
So here's what I will say on this, and this is my 2 cents, right? I am neither PD nor in the baller. There, yes, yes, he had all right to breach the store. However, he did have to think about other things of the greater mind, to say so, I would say, where these spots have been made, whether they have been calmed down or not. Him stating, "I'm waiting for my partner to flank so I can breach you," basically forces hostilities, you know? And honestly, every time I've seen anything like that happen in this state, it only gets worse from there.
He had a gun pointed at me the whole time.
Well, the thing is, there had been oh, go ahead.
So, I'm not going to say how to do your job. I don't like doing that, but that's an over-escalation, and I know you guys are thought, at least I hope you guys are still thought, on de-escalation.
So,
Felipe, during this store robbery, at any point did you have your gun drawn or your accomplice?
I never pulled a gun or even put on a vest until he pointed a gun and said that Nevi was behind me.
Did you have any visible weapons?
At no point in time. I literally just said it's a robbery, and he instantly pointed a gun at me and told me that someone's behind me.
So here is the deal with that. That is a tactic that could have been used to push you from the store before the robbery was completed.
It was basically done.
Yeah, but an officer can't really establish that.
The other person was right behind me. The other person was literally right behind me.
It was confirmed that the store was robbed and a crime was committed.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Yeah, you
oh
tell-
shit! That's
you-
on me.
you
That's
tell
on me.
him, Eric.
I'm about
So-
to
Also, I
fall
got
outside
both of
now,
you.
motherfucker.
I
Good,
got
eh?
both
But
of
just-
you.
What's really bothering me here is
I think
that
I got-
it seems
think
it
was
seems
going
like
for
my
him.
conversation with Rocky and Banks
And
was
I got you, sir.
a waste of time.
I apologize.
I mean, it
Any
wasn't a
bonuses?
waste of time, as at that moment he was still acting in his duties and at a call.
Like,
we
So-
literally told Rocky and Banks we would not increase aggression if you guys don't. And
Well-
he does that the day after.
Wait, April, please stop. 1 second. Okay, so the deal is, he was in the South Side. He was performing in his duties. Breaching a store is well within the right of an officer if they choose to do so, when there
Okay.
is a confirmed crime being committed.
So then
Now,
it's
if the
inside the
person-
scopes of his the scopes of his job.
It is within the scope of his job. So in that case, we can't really say that he over-escalated. That is a method used to apprehend people. We don't have to let somebody out of the store because they've said they completed what they're doing in the store. We don't owe them that. That's the thing.
This is what I'm gonna say. Hit me with it. Give me everything. Don't be happy with the results.
This
You waste-
rounds about back to an
you waste-
officer doing their job.
You wasted. Rocky and Banks came to Grove, and that literally went to a waste of time. That was a waste of what 45 minutes of my time. I don't like my time wasted.
For an
Hit me
officer.
with it. I'm guilty. I don't want to hear no complaint later.
Okay, an officer working within the scope of their job and doing their job once again. Aggression because of that. All right.
So hold on. Let's sidebar for a minute.
This is baller coat now. This is baller coat.
Oh shit! My turn, man. You know what? You can have. Congratulations. What's up there?
Nothing, just listening into what was going on because it sounded like it was.
Well,
reaching a bit of
an absolute shit show. This was part of the negotiations that we had a week ago with Justice Wall.
Shutting down
Southside.
I'm sure I can get hold of them.
I need
Nothing
to
bothers
know
me
what
more than
was,
my time being
I need
wasted.
to know what the agreement was made that the DOJ made with the FIB.
Certainly. Let me see if I can get hold of them.
Thank you.
You trying to get a hold of?
Your dad.
Your daddy.
Which one?
Aggression. When things have been like, it makes no, it just doesn't make sense.
So, do you want me to?
The deal we did with DOJ, it's there, right? But the fact they're trying to push this on me, that annoys
Yeah,
me.
I got you.
So, in relation
Hey, Peter.
to the premeditation
Yo.
Let's talk about that times two again. Over here.
doctors, DOJ employees, elected public officials are subject to double
Okay, so
fines
that times two thing can be miscommunication. Nebby was unaware.
Oh, wait, you're early.
No, let him do it. Let him push it. Let him push it and see what happens next. Yeah, I do. Yep. Yep.
I'm still technically writing the last thing, but
Okay.
it started.
Well, I think they're in the
No,
middle of a
self-
very intense discussion right now.
Sorry, Your Honor. We're.
Oh, no.
You know what? Yeah, bye. Kinda okay.
No, sit down.
Yeah, just sit down.
Right, all
You're my
rise.
second chair. Congratulations.
All rise for Justice Hawthorne's verdict.
I do apologize. I tried to be as quick as possible with writing this out.
It's really hard to push a dump out, mate. I'm sorry.
Is the reason you're sitting there instead of the gallery?
Yeah, I'm supporting my boy. Supporting my boy, Your Honor.
You can do so from the gallery, so I'm going to ask you to.
Yeah, actually
move.
gonna make me move. Wow. Wow. You know what,
You
mate?
can-
Oh, you get skid marks in your undies.
Consider this your one warning for contempt. Any further outbursts will hit you with that charge. Okay. After a long review of all evidence, as well as arguments that were presented, I have came up with the following rulings. For Incident A's charge of criminal possession of a Class 3 firearm under normal circumstances can lead me to multiple ways of thinking. On one hand, the prosecution is correct that the possession of the firearm is proven by the bullet casings, but it is also true that bullet casings themselves only prove the use of the firearm and does not actually prove that he is still in possession of the firearm. Multiple things could have happened, and he could have been charged for it at a later point. But there was no argument against the charge itself, or any dispute towards it, so I will be finding Felipe Estrada guilty of the possession of Class 3 firearm. Incident B, charges of robbery and hostage taking take a very different take. Because we have a numerical error with the date listed, we have to look to the evidence itself to determine as to whether or not the evidence itself is in support of this taking place on the actual time frame and is a simple error. After review of everything that was presented on the docket as well as on the warrant, I find it to be a typographical error, meaning that this incident did in fact take place, so within the required amount of time for this to have been posted. Therefore, I have to look at the evidence, the arguments made for the warrant itself, in which I do find him guilty of the robbery and hostage taking. The third incident charges, notated as Incident C, had a guilty plea to it as listed on the docket. So we will just simply notate that he is admitting guilt to federal bank robbery, aggravated assault, and hostage taking. One of each charge. Which brings us to the final warrant, Incident D. Given the amount of evidence that does exist and where it took place, yes, I believe there is enough evidence here to hit him with the crimes as listed. Therefore, I will be finding him guilty of all charges on Incident D. Obviously, heinous clause has not been pushed with any of these charges, nor do I feel that the burden for heinous clause has been met. Therefore, the maximum sentence is listed as 75 months, $75,000 fine. Case is closed. Thank you.